chapter 11. And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. And it came to pass in an eventide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, Is not this Bathsheba the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned unto her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. And David sent to Joab, saying, Send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was come unto him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And David said to Uriah, Go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all servants of his lord, and went not down to his house. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, and David said unto Uriah, Camest thou not from the journey? Why then did thou not go unto thine house? And Uriah said unto David, The ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife as thou livest, and to as thy soul livest, I will not do this thing. And David said to Uriah, Tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and the morrow. And David had called him. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out and lay on his bed with his servants his lord, but went not down to his house. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, Set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. And it came to pass that when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were. And when the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab said unto David and all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, When thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, Wherefore approached ye so nigh unto the city? Why did ye fight? Know not that they would shoot from the wall. Who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubbesheth? Did not a woman cast a piece of millstone upon him from off the wall, that he died in Thebes? Why went he nigh the wall? Then say, Thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab sent him for. And the messenger said unto David, Surely the men prevailed against us and came unto us into the field, and were upon them even the entering of the gate, and the shooters shot from off the wall upon thy servant, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Then David said unto the messenger, Thus shalt thou say unto Joab, Let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make thy battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage thou him. And when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah's husband was dead, she mourned her husband. And when the morning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife and bare him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased the Lord. And the Lord, chapter 12. And the Lord said unto Nathan and unto David, sent Nathan unto David, and he came to him and said unto him, There were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. And the rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew together with him and with his children. He did eat of his own meat and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, he speared to take his own flock and his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that was coming unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was to come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man. And he said to Nathan, As the Lord liveth, that man had done this thing, the man that has done this thing shall surely die, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, because he had no pity. And David said to Nathan, Thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul, and I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives unto into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. It had not been too little. I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do evil in his sight? That thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of thy son. For thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, The Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Howbeit, the Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die. Howbeit, by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme. The child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. And Nathan departed unto his house, and the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. And David therefore besought God for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay upon the earth. And the elders of the house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the seventh day that the child died, and the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, Behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. And how will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself, and changed his apparel, and came into the house of the Lord and worshipped. Then he came to his own master's house, and which when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat. And then the servant said unto him, What is this thing that thou hast done, that thou weep for the child while it was alive? But when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread. And he said, While the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, Who can tell whether God will be gracious to me that the child may live? But now he is dead, wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. And David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in unto her and lay with her. And she bare a son, and called his name Solomon. And the Lord loved him. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedidiah, because of the Lord. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah, and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together, and encamp against the city, and take it, lest I take the city, and it be called after my name. And David gathered all the people together, and went to Rabbah, and fought against it, and took it. And he took their king's crown from off their head. The weight thereof was a talent of gold, with the precious stones, and which set on David's head, and brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under swords, and made under arrows of iron, and under axes of iron, and made them to pass through the brick kiln. And thus did all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. Chapter 13. And it came to pass, and Ammon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Ammon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. But Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimei, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man, and he said unto him, why art thou, being the king's son, lean from today today? Wilt thou not tell me? And Ammon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. And Jonadab said unto him, lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself thick. And when thy father cometh to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, lest my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it at her hand. Ammon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Ammon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, go now to thy brother Ammon's house and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Ammon's house and laid down and took flour and kneaded it and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Ammon said, have out all men from me. And they went out every man from him. And Ammon said unto Tamar, bring the meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thy hand. And Tamar took the cakes which he had made, and brought them into the chamber to Ammon her brother. And when she had brought them unto him, he took hold of her, and said unto her, come lie with me, my sister. And she answered him, nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this fully. And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. Howbeit, he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherewith he hated her was greater than the love wherewith he had loved her. And Ammon said unto her, arise, be gone. And she said unto him, there is no cause. This evil in sending me away is greater than all that thou didst to me. But he would not hearken unto her. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him and said, put now this woman away from me, and bolt the door after her. And she had a garment of divers colors upon her, for which such robes were the king's daughters that were virgin apparel. Then this servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. And Tamar put ashes on her head, and rent a garment of divers colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head, and went on crying. And Absalom, my brother, said unto her, hath Ammon thy brother been with thee? But hold now thy peace, my sister, he is thy brother, and regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth. And Absalom spake unto his brother Ammon, neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Ammon, because he had forced his sister Tamar. And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shearers in Baal-hazor, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the king's sons. And Absalom came to the king and said, behold now, thy servant hath sheep shearers. Let the king, I beseech thee, and the servants go with thy servant. And the king said to Absalom, nay, my son, let us all now go, lest we be charitable unto thee. And he pressed him, howbeit he would not go, but blessed him. Then said Absalom, if not, I pray thee, let my brother Ammon go with us. And the king said unto him, why should he go with thee? And Absalom pressed him, and let all the king's sons go with him. Now Absalom had commanded his servant, saying, mark ye now, when Ammon's heart is merry with wine, and when I say unto you, smite Ammon, then kill him. Fear not, have I not commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant. And the servants of Absalom did unto Ammon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's sons arose, and every man gat him up upon his mule and fled. And it came to pass, while they were in the way, that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left. Then the king arose and tore his garment and lay on the earth, and all his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab, the son of Shimei, David's brother, and answered Shimei, let not my lord suppose that they have slain all the young men of the king's sons, for Ammon only is dead, and for the king, for by the appointment of Absalom, this hath been determined from the day that he forced the sister Tamar. Now therefore let my lord the king take this thing to her, to think that all the king's sons are dead, for Ammon only is dead. But Absalom fled, and the young man that kept the watch lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. And Jonadab, the son of the king, said unto the king, Behold, the king's sons come. And the servant said, So it is. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, the king's sons came and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also and his servants wept very sore. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son every day. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur and was there 3 years. And the soul of the king longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Ammon, seeing he was dead. Chapter 14. Now Joab the son of Zeruiah perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom. And Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched the king and a wise man, and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint thyself with oil, but be as a woman that hath a long time mourned for the dead, and come to the king and speak on this matter unto him. So Joab put the words in her mouth. And when the woman of Tekoa spoke to David, she fell on her face to the ground and obeisance and said, Help, O king. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, I am indeed a widow woman. My husband is dead, and my handmaid had 2 sons. 2 strove together in the field. There was not one to pass them, but the one smote the other and slew him. And behold, the whole family is risen up against thy handmaid. And they said, Deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him, for the life of his brother whom he slew, and we will destroy the hair also, so that they shall quench my coal which is left, and shall not leave to my husband neither name nor remainder upon the earth. And the king said unto the woman, Go to thine house, and I will give charge concerning thee. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, My lord, O king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house, and the king and his throne be guiltless. And the king said, Whosoever said aught unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall not touch thee any more. Then said she, I pray thee, let not the king remember that thou wouldest not suffer the revengers of blood to destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. And he said, As the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of thy son fall to the earth. Then the woman said, Let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my lord the king. And he said, Say on. And the woman said, Wherefore then hast thou such a thing against the people of God? For the king doth speak this thing as one which is faulty, in that the king does not fetch home again, is banished. For we must needs die, and as water split on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again, neither doth God respect any person. Yet does he devise means that his banished be not expelled from him. Now therefore I am come to speak of this thing unto my Lord. It is because the people have made me afraid. And thy handmaid said, I will now speak of thee. That's why I will now speak unto the king, that it may be that the king will perform the request of his handmaid. For the king will hear, deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the man that would destroy me and my son together out of the inheritance of God. And the handmaid said, The word of the Lord the king shall now be comfortable for us, an angel of God. So it is my responsibility to discern good from bad. Therefore, the Lord thy God will be with thee. Then the king answered and said unto the woman, Hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, Let my lord the king now speak. And the king said, Is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? And the woman answered and said, As thy soul liveth, my lord, O king, none that my lord the king has spoken. For thy servant Job, he bade me and put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid to fetch about this form of speech. Hath any servant of Joab done this thing? And my Lord is wise, according to the wisdom of an angel, to know all things that are in the earth. To fetch about this form of speech hath servant Joab does this thing. And my Lord, oh, what after pay God according to the wisdom of an angel to know all things that are in the earth. And the king said unto Joab, But now, howbeit I have an angel, I have done this thing, therefore bring the young man Absalom again. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself and thanked the king. And Joab said, Today My servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, O Lord, my King. Is the king in that the king had fulfilled the request of his servant. So Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, let him turn to his own house and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house and saw not the king's face. But in all Israel, there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty, for the sole of his feet, even to the crown of his head. There was no blemish in him. And when he polled his head, for it was at every year's end that he polled it, because the hair was heavy on him, therefore he polled it. He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels of at the and when he pulled his head, for it was at the very first year's end that she pulled it, because his hair was heavy on him, therefore he pulled it. But the weight of his hair was 200 shekels, and after the king's weight. But unto Absalom there were three sons and one daughter, and one whose name was Tamar. She was of a fair countenance. So Absalom dwelt 2 full years in Jerusalem and saw not the king's face. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to have him sent to the king, but he would not come. Therefore he said unto his servant, see, Joab sealed his name, and he hath barley there. Go and set it on fire. And Absalom's servant set the field on fire. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom unto his house and said unto him, wherefore have thy servant set my field on fire? And Absalom answered Joab, behold, I sent unto thee, saying, come now hither, or come hither. Then Joab arose and met Absalom unto his house and said unto him, wherefore have thy servant set my field on fire? And Absalom answered Joab, behold, I sent unto thee, come hither, that I may send thee to the king, saying, wherefore am I come to Geshur? It had been good for me to have been there still. Now therefore let me speak the king's face, and if there be iniquity in me, let him kill me. So Joab came to the king and told him, and when he had called for Absalom, he came to the king and bowed himself to the ground before the king, and kissed Absalom. And the king kissed Absalom, chapter 15. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses, 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when anyone had drawn controversy, came to the gate of judgment. Chapter 15. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. It was so that when any man had controversy and came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, oh, of what city art thou? And he said, thy servant is of one of the tribes in Israel. And Absalom said unto him, see, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the king here. Absalom said, moreover, oh, that I were made judge in the land, and that every man which hath my suit or cause might come unto me, and I will do him justice. And it was so that when any man came nigh unto him to do obeisance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. And on this manner did Absalom to all Israel, and came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pray. And on this manner did Absalom to all the Israel that came to king for judgment. And Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And it came to pass after 40 years. And Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow which I have vowed unto the Lord in heaven. For thy servant vowed a vow while I abode at Geshur in Syria, saying, if the Lord shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve the Lord. And the king said unto him, Go in peace. So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon and Absalom went 200 miles out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went out in their simplicity, and they knew not anything. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel the Gilonite, David's counselor from his city, even from Gilead. Yeah. And there came a messenger to David, saying, The hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Arise, let us flee, for we shall not escape. And the king's servants said unto the king, Behold, the servants are ready to do whatever my lord the king shall appoint. And the king went forth and all his household after him, and the king left him and came back with concubines. And the king's servant said unto the king, Behold, the servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king shall appoint. And the king went forth and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women which were concubines to keep the house. And the king went forth and all the people after him and tarried in a place that was afar off. And all the servants passed on beside him, and all the Cherethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gittites, 600 men which came after him from Gath, passed on before the king. Then said the king to Ittai the Gittite, Wherefore, where hast thou comest but yesterday? Should I this day take thee up, make thee go up and down with us, saying that whither I may return down, and thou take back thy brethren, by mercy and truth be with thee? And Ittai answered and said, Whereas thou camest but yesterday, should I this day make thee go up and down with us, saying that I go whither return not thou? And Ittai answered the king and said, As the Lord liveth, and as my lord the king liveth, surely in what place my lord will what is this, whether in death or life, even though also with thy servant be. And David said to Ittai, Go pass over. Ittai the Gittite pass over, and all his men and all the little ones that were with him, and all the country wept with a loud voice, and the people passed over. And the king also passed over the brook Kidron, and all the people passed over toward the way of the wilderness. And lo, Zadok also and all the Levites were with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of God, and they set down the ark of God. And Abiathar went up unto all the people that had done passing out of the city. And the king said unto Zadok, Carry the ark of God into the city. If I shall find favor in the eyes of the Lord, he will bring me again and show me both it and his habitation. But if he thus say, I have no delight in thee, behold, here am I. Let him do with me as he seemeth good unto him. The king said unto Zadok the priest, Art thou not a seer? And return to thy city in the first place, and your two sons with you, Ahimaaz, Jonathan. Then the king said unto Zadok the priest, Art thou not a seer? Return to the city in peace, and your two sons with you, Ahimaaz thy son, and Jonathan the son of Abiathar. See, I will tarry. See, I will tarry in the plain of the wilderness until there come one word from you to certify me. Zadok therefore and Abiathar, Zadok therefore and Abiathar carried the ark of God again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. And David went up by the ascent of the Mount of Olivet, and wept as he went up, and he had his head covered, and he went barefoot, and all the people that was with him covered every man his head, and they went up, weeping as they went up. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, O Lord, I pray thee, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount where he worshipped God, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet him with his coat rent and the earth upon his head, unto whom David said, If thou passest with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now also be thy servant, that mayest thou for me defeat the counsel of Ahithophel, and as thou not there with thee, Zadok and Abiathar the priest. Therefore it shall be that what things soever thou shalt hear of the king's house, thou shalt tell it to Zadok and Abiathar the priest. Behold, they have a life of their own. They have there with them their two sons, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abiathar's son. And by them ye shall send unto me everything that ye can hear. So Hushai, David's friend, came into the city, and Absalom came into Jerusalem. Chapter 16. And when David was a little past in the top of the hill, behold, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him with a couple of asses saddled, and upon them 200 loaves of bread, and 100 bunches of raisin, and 100 of summer fruits, and a bottle of wine. And the king said unto Ziba, what meanest thou by these? And Ziba said, the asses be for the king's household to ride on, and the bread, the summer fruit, on young men, and wine, that to be faint, such as be faint in the wilderness, may drink. And the king said, and where is thy master's son? And Ziba said unto the king, behold, he abideth in Jerusalem, for he said, today shall the house of Israel restore me the kingdom of my father. Then the king sent to Ziba, behold, thine and all that pertain unto Mephibosheth. And Ziba, I humbly beseech thee that I may find grace in thy sight, O Lord my king. And when the king David returned, came to Bahurim, behold, this came out a man. Behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name was Shimei, the son of Gera. He came forth and caused steel as he came, and has cast stones at David, and at all the servants of King David, and all the people, and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. And the prayer about and cast stones at David, and all the servants of David, and all the people, and all the mighty men were on his right hand and on his left. And thus said Shimei when he caused, come out, thou bloody man, and thou man of Belial. The Lord had returned upon thee all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead thou hast reigned, and the Lord has restored the kingdom unto Absalom thy son. And behold, thou art taken in the mischief. Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. And the king said, what have I to do with thee, with you? O Shabbat. Then said Abishai the son of Zeruiah unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray thee, and take off his head. And the king said, what have I to do with you, ye sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse, because the Lord had said unto him, curse David. Who then shall say, wherefore hast thou done so? And David said to Abishai and to all his servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowel, seeketh my life, and how much more now may this Benjamin do it? Let him alone, and let him curse. For the Lord hath bidden him. It may be that the Lord will look on my affliction, and that the Lord will require me good for his clothing this day, for his cursing this day. And David said, and as David and his men went by the way, Shimei went along on the other side of the river against him, and cursed as he went, and threw stones at him, and cast out. And David and the king and all the people that were with him came weary and refreshed themselves there. And Absalom and all the people of the men of Israel came to Israel, and Ahithophel with him. And it came to pass when Hushai the Archite, David's friend, and it came to pass when Hushai the Archite, David's friend, was come to Absalom, that Hushai and Absalom, God save the king, God save the king. And Absalom said to Hushai, is this the kindness to thy husband? And Absalom said to Hushai, is this the kindness to thy friend, and thou wentest not now with thy friend? And Hushai said unto Absalom, nay, but whom the Lord and not these people and all the men of Israel choose will I be, and with him will I abide. And again, whom should I serve? Should I not serve in the presence of his son, as I have served in thy father's presence? So will I be in thy presence. Then Absalom said to Ahithophel, give counsel among you what we shall do. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, chapter Okay. And Ahithophel said unto Absalom, go in unto thy father's concubines, which he hath left to keep the house, and all Israel shall hear that thou art abhorred thy father. Then shall the hands of all that are with thee be strong. So they spread Absalom in a tent upon the top of the house, and Absalom went in unto his father's concubines, and in the sight of all Israel. And the counsel of Ahithophel, which he counseled in those days, was as if a man had inquired of God at the oracle of God. So was also the counsel of Ahithophel with both with David and with Absalom. Chapter 17. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will arise and pursue after David this night, and I will come to pass upon him. Chapter 17. Moreover, Ahithophel said unto Absalom, let me now choose out 12,000 men, and I will arise and pursue after David in this sight, and I will come upon them while he is very weak and weak-handed, and will make him afraid, and with all the people their martial heart. And I'll bring back all the people unto thee, and the man whom thou seekest, as if all returns. So the first people shall be in peace. And the same pleased Absalom well, and all the elders of Israel. And then said Absalom, call now Hushai the Archites also, and let us hear likewise what he said. And when Hushai was come to Absalom, Absalom spoke unto him, saying, Ahithophel hath spoken after this way. And when Hushai was come to Absalom, spoke unto him, Ahithophel spoke unto him, I shall lead you after, if not speak thou. And Hushai said unto Absalom, the counsel of Ahithophel had not given thee courage at this time, for said Hushai, thou knowest thy father and his men, that they be mighty men, and that he chafed in their minds. Be a rob of our webs in the field, and thy father is a man of war, and he will not lodge with the people. Behold, he is now hid in some pit or in some other place, and to come to pass when some of them are converted, strengthen your brethren. For said Hushai, thou knowest my father and thy men be weary from war, from different locations and events. Oh, behold, he is now hid in some pit in some other place. There is a slaughter among the people that follow Absalom. And he also that is valiant, whose heart is at the heart of a lion, shall shortly mate for it. For all Israel know that thy father is a mighty man, and that they which be with him are valiant men. Therefore I counsel all Israel be generally gathered unto thee from Dan even to Beersheba, as the sand that is by the sea for multitude, and thou shalt go to battle in their own presence. So shall we come upon him that has some place wherein he shall be found, and we light upon him as the dew falleth to the ground, and of all the men of Israel which are worshipping, and that there must not be one space left. Moreover, if he be gotten into a city, and then they shall all Israel bring some ropes, and we will draw into a river until there be not one small stone found there. And Absalom and all the men of Israel said, the counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel. For the Lord appointed the elders of Israel a good counsel, to the intent that the Lord might bring evil upon Absalom. Then said Hushai unto Zadok and Abiathar the priest unto us, thus and thus did Ahithophel counsel Absalom and the elders of Israel, and thus have I counseled. Now therefore send quickly and tell David, saying, Lodge in this night of plains in the wilderness. But now therefore send quickly and tell David, saying, Lord, not this night in the person of their concern. Lord, this time. Now Jonathan and Ahimaaz stayed by En Rogel, for they might not be seen or come into the city or a wench. And they told them, I was lost. And they went and told the king. Nevertheless, a lad saw them and took them to Absalom. Nevertheless, a lad saw them. Jonathan and Ahimaaz stayed in Neged, for they might have seen them coming to the city. And they went and told them. And they went and told King David. Nevertheless, a lad saw them and took Absalom and told Absalom. But they were both of them away quickly and came to a man's house in Bahurim, which had a well in his court, whither they went down. And the woman took and spread a covering over the well's mouth, and spread over a corn thereof, and the thing was not known. And when Absalom's servants came to the waters of the house, they said, Where is Ahimaaz the son? And the woman took a bread, spread it over the well's mouth, and the thing was not known. And when Absalom's servants came to the woman of the house, they said, Where is it Ahimaaz the son of the woman? They be gone forever over the brook of water, and they had sought and could not kill him yet. And it came to pass after that they were departed, that they came up out of the wall and went and told the king and said unto and Absalom's servants came to the woman to the house and said, Where is Ahimaaz and Jonathan? And the woman said unto them, They be gone over the brook of water. And when they had sought and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. And it came to pass after they were departed and came to the house up front as well, and told the king as was unto death. And when Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his ass and arose and got him up home to his house and the city, and put his house in order, and hanged himself and died, and was buried in the sepulchre of his fathers. Then David said to Mahanaim, and Absalom passed over Jordan, he and all the men of Israel with him. And Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab, which and Absalom made Amasa captain of the host instead of Joab. But Amasa was a man's son whose name was Ithra, an Israelite, that went into Abigail, the daughter of Nahash, sister of Zeruiah, Joab's mother. So Israel and Absalom pitched in the land of Gilead. And it came to pass when David was come to Mahanaim, and that Shebu, the son of Nahash, son of Rabbah, and the children of Ammon, and Maki, son of Amiel of Lodibar, and Barzillai, the Gileadites of Rogelim, brought beds and basins and earthen vessels and wheat and barley and flour and parched corn and beans and lentils and parched balls and honey and butter and sheep and cheese of kine for a general. For they said the people is hungry, weary, and thirsty in the wilderness. Chapter 18. And David numbered the people that were with him and set captains of thousands and captains. Chapter 18. And David numbered the people that were with him, and he set captains of thousands and captains of hundreds over them. And David sent forth a third part of the people under the hand of Joab, and a third part of the people under the hand of Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, Joab's brother, and a third part under the hand of Ittai the Gittite. And the king said unto the people, I will surely go forth with you myself also. But the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they will not care for us, neither if we die, if half of us die, they will not care for us. But now that you are holding 10,000 of us, there is now better. And David sent a fourth part, and behold, the people answered, Thou shalt not go forth, for if we flee away, they will not care for us, neither if half of us die. They will not care for us, but thou art not what 10,000 of us. Therefore now it is better that thou succor us out of the city and king. And the king said unto them, What seemeth to you I will I will do. And the king stood uh, and the king said unto them, What seemeth to you best I will do. And the king stood by the gate side, and all the people came out by hundreds and by thousands. And the king commanded Joab and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Deal gently for my sake with the young man, even with Absalom. And all the people heard when the king gave all captains that concerning. So the people went out into the field against Israel, and the battle was in the wood of Ephraim, where the people of Israel were slain before the servants of David. There was a great slaughter that day of 20,000 men. For the battle scattered over the faces of all the country. The wood and devoured people. Mm. For the battle was there scattered over the face of all the country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule, and the mule went under thick boughs of great oak. And his head caught hold of the ark, and it was taken up between heaven and on earth. And the mule that was under him went away. And a certain man saw it and told Joab and said, Behold, I saw Absalom hanged in an oak. And Joab said unto the man that told him, And behold, thou sawest him, and why did thou smite him there to the ground? And I would have given thee 10 shekels of silver and a girdle. And the man said unto Joab, Though I should receive 1,000 shekels in silver in my hand, yet would I not put forth my hand against the king's son, for in our hearing the king's chapel. And the man said unto Joab, Though I should receive 1,000 shekels of mine in the hand of Uzziah, and the man said unto Joab, Though I should receive 1,000 shekels of silver in my hand, yet I will not put forth my hand against the king's son. For in our hearing the king charged thee and Abishai and Ittai, saying, Beware that none should touch the young man Absalom. Otherwise, I should have wrought falsehood against my own life, for there is no matter hid from the king, and thou thyself would have set thyself against me. Then said Joab, That I may not tarry with thee. And he took 3 darts in his hand and thrust them through the heart of Absalom while he was yet alive in the midst of the oak. And the 10 young men that bear Joab's armor compassed about and smote Absalom and slew him. And Joab blew the trumpet, and the people returned from pursuing after Israel, for Joab held back the temple. And they took Absalom and cast him into a great pit in the wood, and laid very great heap of stones upon him. And all Israel fled this day. And they took back the people very greatly fled to his tent. Now Absalom in his lifetime had taken and reared up for himself a pillar which is in the king's day, for he said, I have not seen my son my labor, my eyes. Then said Ahimaaz, and now Absalom in his lifetime had taken and reared up for himself a pillar which is by the king's dale. For he said, I have no son to keep my name in remembrance, and he called the pillar after his own name. It is called unto this day Absalom's place. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok, let me now run and bear the king tidings, how that the Lord avenged him of his enemies. And Joab said unto him, thou shalt not bear tidings this day, but thou can be obedient in tidings another. But the day thou shalt not bear tidings, because thy king's son is dead. Then said to Joab to Cushi, go tell the king what thou hast seen. And Cushi bowed himself unto Joab and he ran. And then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok yet again to Joab, but whosoever let me know. Then said Ahimaaz the son of Zadok, yes, against Joab, but howsoever let me, I pray thee, run after Cushi. And Joab said, wherefore wilt thou run, my son, and seeing that thou hast no tidings ready? But howsoever said, let me run, he said unto him, run. Then Ahimaaz ran by the way of the plain and overran Cushi, and David sat between the two gates. And the watchman went up to the roof over the gate unto the wall, and lifted up his eyes and looked, behold, the man is running alone. And the watchman cried and told the king, and he said, if he be done alone, there is tidings in his mouth. And he came a peace and drew near. And the watchman called unto the porter, and he said, behold, another man is running alone. And the king said, he also bringeth tidings. And the watchman said, me thinketh that the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz, the son of Zadok. The king of Israel is. And David sat between the two gates, watchmen over the roof of the gate. And the watchman cried and told his king and said, if he be alone, there is tidings in his mouth. And he came apace and drew near. And watchmen saw another running. And watchmen called unto the porter and said, behold, another man is running alone. And the king said, he also bringeth tidings. And the watchman said, me thinketh the running of the foremost is like the running of Ahimaaz the son of Zadok. And the king said, he is good man, and cometh with tidings. And Ahimaaz called and said unto the king, all is well. And he fell down upon the earth, upon his face before the king, and said, blessed be the Lord thy God, which hath delivered up the men that lifted up their hands against my lord the king. And the king said, is the young man Absalom for their wife? Turn aside and stand there, and turned aside, and blood stew. And behold, Cushi came, and Cushi said, tidings, my lord the king, for the Lord hath avenged thee in the day that thou rose up against thee. And the king said unto Cushi, is the young man Absalom's wife? And Cushi answered, the enemies of my lord the king, and all that rise up against thee to do thee, or to be as that young man is. And the king was so much moved, and went up to the chamber, looking over the gate, and went, and thus he said, O my son Absalom, thy son be Absalom. Absalom would to God I had died for thee, O Jerusalem, my son, my son. Chapter 19. And it was told Joab, behold, the king weepeth and mourneth for Absalom, and the victory of that day was turned into mourning for all the people. For the people heard say that the day that how the king was grieved for his son, and the people got him by stealth that day into the city, as the people being ashamed to stay away when they were full of food. But the king covered his face. And the king cried out with a loud voice, oh, my son Absalom, oh, Absalom, my son, my son. And Joab came into the house of the king and said, thou hast shamed this day. Well, the king came into the house of the king, and thou hast shamed this day for the face of thy servants, which is that they have saved my life, and for the lives of my sons and daughters, and the lives of their wives, and the lives of concubines, in that thou lovest thy enemies, and thou hatest. Chapter 19. And it was told Joab the king weeped and mourned for Absalom, and the victory that was turned into mourning unto all the people. For the people heard him say that how the king was grieved for his son. And the people got him by stealth that day into the city, and the people being ashamed to steal away when they flee in battle. But the king covered his face, and the king cried out with a loud voice, "Oh, my son Absalom, oh, my son Absalom, my son, my son." And Joab came in unto the house and said, Thou hast shamed this day the face of all thy servants, which day thou hast saved thy life and the lives of all thy sons forever, and the lives of their wives and the lives of their concubines, for thou hast loved my enemies. And later, friends. Joab came into and thou hast shamed this day the face of thy servant, that thou lovest thy enemies and hated thy friend. For thou hast declared this day that thou regardest neither princes nor servants. For this day I perceive that if Absalom had lived and all that we died this day, then it has pleased thee well. Now therefore arise, go forth and speak comfortably unto the servants, thy servants. For I swear by the Lord, if thou go not forth, and thou wilt one with one free gift this night, and will not sow thy weapon, and help to sow it, and the evil that befell thee will befell your youthful. Then king arose and sat in the gate, and they told unto all the people, saying, Behold, the king does not sit in the gate. And all the people that came from far and near. The king arose and sat in the gate, and they told unto the people. The king sat in the gate, and all the people before the king. Israel had fled every man to his tent, and all the people were at strife throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, The king saved us out of the hands of our enemies, and delivered us out of the hand of the Philistines. Now he is fled out of the land for Absalom. And Absalom, whom we anointed over us, is dead in battle. Now therefore we speak ye not a word of bringing the king back. Why speak ye not a word of bringing the king back? And King David said to Zadok and Abiathar the priest, saying, Speak unto the elders of Judah, why are ye the last to bring the king back to his house? Saying the speech of all Israel is come to the king, even to his house. Ye are my bread, and ye are my bones, and ye are my flesh. Wherefore then are ye last to bring before the king? And say ye to Amasa, although now ye are my brethren, and my bones, and my flesh. Wherefore then ye are the last to bring back the king? And ye say ye to Amasa, Art thou not of my bone and of my flesh? God do so to me, and more also, if thou be not captain of the host before me continually in the room of Joab. And he bowed his heart, the heart of all the men of Judah, even as the heart of one man, so that they sent this word unto the king, Return thou and all thy servants. So the king returned and came to Judah, and Judah came to Gilgal to meet the king to conduct the king over Jordan. And Shimei, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, which was of Bashurim, hasted and came down, and with the men of Judah to haste Judah to meet the king. And there were 1,000 men of Benjamin with him, and Ziba the servants of the Lord. So the king returned and came to Jordan and came to Gilgal to meet the king to conduct the king over Jordan. Shimei the son of Gera and Benjamin of Bashurim hasted to come down of Judah to meet the king, and there was 1,000 men of Benjamin with him, and Ziba the servant of the house of Saul, and his 15 sons and 20 concubines. And they over Jordan. And they went over Jordan the ferry boat to carry over the king's household, and to do what he thought good. And Shimei the son of Gera fell down before the king as he was come over Jordan. And he said unto the king, Let not my lord impute iniquity unto me, neither do thou remember the sin which thy servant this perversely this day, that my lord the king went out of Jerusalem, that the king should not take it to his heart. For thy servant doth know that I have sinned. Therefore I am come for this first thing at the house of Joseph to go down to meet the Lord my king. But the Uriah answered and said, Shall not the king reproach? And he answered, My Lord, O king, you have deceived me. For thy servant said, I will saddle me an ass that I may ride thereon and go to the king, because thy servant is lame. And he had slandered thy servant unto the Lord my king, but the Lord my king is an angel of God. Do therefore what is good in thine eyes, for all my father's house that were but dead men. Before my doing the king, yes, thou didst set the boundaries and set thy own tables. What right therefore have I yet to cry anymore? And the king said unto him, Why speakest thou any more of thy matters? I have said, Thou and Ziba divide the land. And Mephibosheth said unto the king, Yea, let him take all. For as much as my lord the king is come again in peace and in his own judgment and in his own house. And Barzillai the Gileadite came down from Rogelim and went over to Jordan with the king to conduct him over Rogelim. Now Barzillai was a very aged man, even fourscore years old, and he had provided the king sustenance while he lay at Mahanaim, for he was very great. And the king said unto Barzillai, Come thou over with me, and I will feed thee in Jerusalem. And Barzillai said unto the king, How long will I have to live, that I should go up with the king unto Jerusalem? I am this day fourscore years old, and can discern between good and evil. Can thy servant taste what I eat or what I drink? Can I hear any more the voice of singing men and singing women? Wherefore thou should thy servant be yet a burden unto my lord the king? The servant will go a little way over Jordan with the king, and why should the king recompense it me with such a reward? Let thy servant, I pray thee, turn back again, that I may die in my own city, and be buried by the grave of my father and of my mother. But behold, thy servant Chimham, let him go over with the Lord my king, and to do what shall seem good unto thee. And the king answered, Chimham shall go over with me, and I will do to him that which he even see on the screen. And the king answered, Chimham will go over, I will do to him that which seem good to thee, and whatsoever thou shalt require out of me, that will I do for them. All the people went over Jordan, and when the king was come over and kissed Barzillai and blessed him, and he returned to his own place, then the king went to Gilgal and Chimham and went on with him, and all the people of Judah conducted the wedding, and also of all the people of Israel. And behold, all the men of Israel came to the king and said unto him, Why have your brethren, men of Judah, stolen thee away, and have brought the king and his household and all his men with him over Jordan? And all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, Because the king is near. And all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, Because the king is near. Next of king to us. Wherefore then be ye angry on this matter, and said, And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah and said, We have 10 parts in the king, and we also have more rights in David than ye. Why then ye despise us, that our advice should not be first had in bringing back our king? And the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. Chapter 20. And there happened to be there a man of Belial, whose name was Sheba, the son of Bichri, a Benjamite, and he blew a trumpet and said, We have no part in David, neither we have inheritance in the son of Jesse, every man to his own tents, O Israel. So every man went up from after David and followed Bathsheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah clave unto their king, Jordan, even to Jerusalem. David came to David came to his house at Jerusalem, whom he had left, and put them in word and fed them, but not unto them. So they were shut up the day after their death, leaving a widow. Then said the king to Amasa, Assemble me of the men of Judah within 3 days, and be thou here present. Then the king said to so Amasa went to assemble the men of Judah, but he tarried longer than the set time which he had appointed him. And David said to Abishai, Now shall Sheba the son of Bichri do us more harm than did Absalom. Take thou thy Lord's servant and pursue after them, lest he get in fenced cities and escape us. And Leah went out after him, Joab's men and the Cherethites, and the Pelethites, and the mighty men, and all the mighty men, so that they went out of the Philistine to pursue after Sheba the son of Bichri. And when they were at the great stone which is in Gibeon, Amasa went before them, and Joab garment that he had put on was girded unto him, and upon he girded with a sword fastened upon his loins in the sheath thereof. And as he went forth, it fell out. And Joab said to Amasa, art thou knelt, my brother? And Joab took Amasa by the beard, which with the right hand to kiss him. But Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand, so he smote him therewith in the fifth rib, and shed out his bowels to the ground, and struck him not again, and he died. So Joab and Abishai his brother pursued after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And one of Joab's men stood by him and said, he that favored Joab, and he as David. Now David let him go after Joab, and Amasa wallowed in the blood of the midst of the highway. When the man saw that all the people stood still, he removed Amasa out of the highway and cast a cloth upon him. When he saw that everyone came by him, stood still. When he was removed out of the highways, all the people went after Joab to pursue after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And he went through all the cities, the tribes of Israel, unto Abel, and unto Bethmaach, and unto the Berites, and they were all gathered together and went after him. And they came and besieged him in Abel Bethmaach, and they cast up a blank against the city and in the trench. And all the people that were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down. Then cried the wise man out of the city, here I say, here I say. You make sense. You make sense. Every day, God bless you. In the name of Jesus. And they came and besieged Abel Bethmaach, and they cast up the bank of the city, and stood it and treasured it. They carried away. And one speaking old time, saying, thou shalt surely ask counsel at Abel, so that they ended the matter. I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. Thou seekest to destroy a city and murder in Israel. Why wilt thou swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? And Joab answered and said, far be it from me that I should swallow up for to destroy. The matter is not an but so a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba the son of Bichri by name, had lifted up his hand against the king, even against the David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, behold, he shall be thrown to thee over the wall. Then the woman went up on all the people in her wisdom and cut off the maid. The matter is not so, but a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba the son of Bichri by name, had lifted up his hand against the king, even David. Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. The woman said unto Joab, behold, his head shall be thrown to thee over a wall. Then the woman went out, all the people in her wisdom, and they cut off the head of Sheba the son of Bichri, and cast it unto Joab, and blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent, and Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. Now Joab was all over the host of Israel, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada was over the Cherethites and the Pelethites, and Adoram was over the tribute, and Jehoshaphat was the recorder, and Sheva was scribe, and Zadok was the And Adoram was over the tribute, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahihud, was the recorder, and Sheva was the scribe, and Zadok was Abiathar were the priest, and Ira, also the Jairite, was the chief ruler about David. Chapter 21. Then there was a famine in the days of David 3 years, year after year. And David inquired of the Lord, and the Lord answered, it is for Saul, and for his bloody house, because he slew the Gibeonites. And the king called the Gibeonites and said unto them, Now the Gibeonites Now the Gibeonites were not of children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Amorites, and of the children of Israel had sworn unto them and said to slay them in his zeal to the children of Israel and Judah. Wherefore David said unto the Gibeonites, what shall I do for you, and wherewith shall I make the atonement, that ye may bless the inheritance of the Lord? And the Gibeonites said unto him, we will have no silver, nor gold of Saul, nor of his house, neither of us shall thou kill any man in Israel. What ye shall say, that will I do for you. And they answered, the king, the men that consumed us and devised against us to be destroyed from the remaining in any of the coast of Israel, let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Lord. We'll hang them up unto the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. And the king said, I will give them. But the king spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the Lord's oath that was between them, between David and Jonathan and Saul. But the king took the two wives of Rizpah and daughter of Ajah, whom she bare unto Saul, and Moni and Mephibosheth, and the five sons. Let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and them up unto the Lord in Gibeah. But the king spared Mephibosheth. But the king took two wives of Rizpah, whom she brought up for Adriel, the son of Barzillai, the Meholathite. And he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hacked them in the hill before the Lord. And they fell all seven together and were put to death in the days of the harvest, in the first days, in the beginning of the barley harvest. And Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, took sackcloth and spread it for her upon the rock. And Rizpah, the daughter of Asa, took the sackcloth and spread it for her upon the rock, from the beginning of the harvest until the water dropped upon them out of heaven, and suffered neither bread nor the air to rest on them by the of the beasts of the field by night. And it was told David that Rizpah, the daughter of Ajah, the contribution of Saul, that Saul had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan and his sons from the men of Jabesh Gilead, which had stolen them from the street of Bethshan, where Philistines and when the Philistines had slain Saul in Gilboa, and brought up from thence the bones of Saul and the bones of Jonathan his son, and they gathered the bones of them that were hanged, and the bones of Saul and his Jonathan was buried in the country of Benjamin. And David went and took the bones of Saul, and he brought up them from bones of Saul, Jonathan his son, and they gathered the bones of them that were hanged. And the bones of Saul and Jonathan were buried in the country of Zelah, in the sepulchre of Kish his father. And they performed all that the king commanded, and after all that God was entreated for the land. Moreover, the Philistines had yet war against with Israel, and David went down and again, and his servants with him, and fought against the Philistines. And David waxed faint, and Ishbi-benob, which was of the sons of the giant, the weight of whose spear weighed 300 shekels of brass in weight, he being gathered with a new sword, thought to have slain David. But Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, succored and smote the Philistines and killed him. This the men of David swear unto him, saying, Thou shalt go more out with us to battle, then quench not the light of Israel. And it came to pass, but Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, succored him and smote the Philistine and killed him. And the men of David swore unto him, saying, Thou shalt go no more with us to battle, thou shalt quench not the light of Israel. And it came to pass after this that there was again a battle with the Philistines at Gob. Then Sibbecai and Hushathite slew Saph, which was of the sons of the giant. And there was again a battle in Gob with the Philistines, where Elhanan, the son of Jari Oregim, a Bethlehemite, slew the brother of Jolath, and Bethlehemite slew the brother of Goliath, the Gittite, the staff of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. And then there was yet a battle in Gath, where was a man of great stature, that had on every hand 6 fingers, and on every foot 6 toes, 24 in number, and also who was born to Egypt. And when he defied Israel, Jonathan, the son of Shimei, the brother of David, slew him. These 4 were born to the giants in Gath, and fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. Chapter 22. And David spake unto the Lord the words of this song, saying, The day that the Lord had delivered him out of the hand of all his enemies, and out of the hand of Saul, and he said, The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. The God of my rock, him will I trust. He is my shield, the horn of my salvation, my high tower, my refuge, my savior. Thou savest me from violence. I will call on the Lord who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried to the Lord. And he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The sorrows of hell compassed me about, the snares of death prevented me. My distress I called upon the Lord and cried to my God, which he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled, the foundations of the heaven were moved and shook, because he was wroth. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, the fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down. The darkness was under his feet. And I will call on the Lord who is worthy to be praised. Shall I be saved from my enemies when the waves of death compass me? Flood of the ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of men compassed me round about. The snares of death prevented me. My distress I called upon the Lord. I cried to my God, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. And the earth shook and trembled, and the foundations of the heaven moved and shook, because he was wroth. Then went up a smoke out of his nostril, fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down. Darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon the cherub and did fly, and he was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds and of the skies. Through the brightness before him through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. The Lord thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them, and the channels of the sea appeared. The foundations of the world were discovered at the rebuking of the Lord, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils. He sent forth from above, he took me, he drew me out of the waters, he delivered me from my strong enemy and from him that hated me. For they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity. But the Lord was my stay. Thank you very much. He prevented me during my calamity. The Lord was my stay. He brought me forth in a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands. Hath he recompensed me, for I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not walked wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me. And as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. I was also upright before him, and kept myself from iniquity. Therefore the Lord has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to my cleanness in his sight. With the merciful, God will be merciful. Be merciful. Therefore, the Lord has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness, my cleanness in his sight. With the merciful, thou will show thyself merciful, and with the upright, thou will show thyself upright. With the pure, thou will show thyself pure, and with the froward, thou will show thyself unsavory. And the afflicted people thou wilt save. For thine eyes are upon the earth, that thou mayest bring them down. For thou art a lamp, O Lord, and the Lord will lighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, by my God I have leaped over a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried, is a buckler to all them that trust in him. For who is God save the Lord, and who is the rock save our God? God is my strength and my power. And he maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like the hinds feet, and seated me upon high places. He teaches my hands to war, so that the bow of steel is broken by my arms. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy gentleness has made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, and did cause my feet to not sleep. I have pursued my enemies and destroyed them, and turned not again until I had consumed them. And I have consumed them and wounded them. They could not arise, yet they are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength to battle. Them that rose up against me hast thou subdued under me. Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They looked, but there was none to save, even unto the Lord, but they answered them not. Then did I beat them as small as the dust of the earth. I did stamp them as the mire of the street, and did spread them abroad. Thou also hast delivered me from the strivings of the people, and have kept me to be the head of the heathen. The people which I knew not shall serve me. Strangers shall submit themselves unto me. As soon as they hear, they shall be obedient unto me. Strangers shall fade away, and they shall be afraid out of their close places. The Lord liveth, and blessed be my rock, and exalted to be the God of my salvation. It is God that avengeth me, and bringeth down the people under me, and bringeth me forth from my enemies. Thou also hast lifted me up on high above them that rose up against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathens. I will sing praises unto your name. Verse 25, verse 51. He is the tower of salvation, for he is the king and showeth mercy. God bless your name. He is the tower of salvation, for his king and showeth mercy to his anointed, unto David, unto his pursued. Thank you so much. Chapter 23. Now these be the last words of David, the son of Jesse, and the man who was raised up on high, the anointed of the God of Jacob, and the sweet psalmist of Israel, said, The Spirit of the Lord spake by me, and his word was in my tongue. The God of Israel said, The rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God. And it shall be as the light of the morning when the sun riseth, even a morning without clouds, as the tender grass springing out of the earth by clear shining after the rain. Although my house be not so with you, yet he hath made me an everlasting covenant, ordered in all things and sure. For this is all my salvation and all my desire, although he make it not to grow. But the sons of Belial shall be all of them as stones thrust away, because they cannot be taken with hands. But the man that shall touch them must be fenced with iron and the staff of the spear, and they shall utterly be burned with fire in the same place. These be the names of the mighty men of David, whom David had. The Tachmonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains, the same was Adino the Eznite, that lifted up his spear against 800, whom he slew at one time. And after him was Eleazar the son of Dodo and the Hawite, one of the three mighty men which David, when they had defied the Philistines that were gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away, he arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clave unto the sword. And the Lord wrought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only to spoil. And after him was Shammah, the son of Agag the Ararite. When the Philistines were gathered together into a troop, there was a piece of ground full of lentils, and the people fled from the Philistines. But he stood in the midst of the ground and defended it, and slew the Philistines, and the Lord wrought a great victory. And 3 of the 30 chief went down and came to David in the harvest time unto the cave of Adullam. And the troop of the Philistines pitched in the valley of Rephaim. And David was then in an wood, and the garrison of the Philistines was there in Bethlehem. And David longed and said, Oh, that one would give me drink of water from the well of Bethlehem, which is by the gate. And 3 mighty men broke through the host of the Philistines, and drew water out of the well of Bethlehem that was by the gate, and took it and brought it to David. Nevertheless, he would not drink thereof, but poured it out unto the Lord. And he said, Be it far from me, O Lord, that I should do this. Is not it his blood of the men that went in jeopardy of their life? Therefore he would not drink it. These things did these 3 mighty men. And Abishai, the brother of Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was the chief among the 3. He lifted up his spear against 300 and slew them, and had the name among the 3. Was he not most honorable of 3? Therefore he was their captain, howbeit he attained not unto the first 3. And Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, son of a valiant man, Kabzeel, had done many acts. He slew 2 lion-like men of Moab. He went down also and slew a lion in the midst of the pit in the time of snow. And he slew an Egyptian, a goodly man, and the Egyptian had a spear in his hand. But he went down to him with a staff and plucked the spear out of the Egyptian's head, and he slew him with his own spear. These things did Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and he had the name among the 3 mighty men. And he was more honorable than the 30, but he attained not to the first 3, and David set him over his guard. Asaiah the brother of Joab was one of the 30, Elhanan the son of Dodo of Bethlehem, Shammah the Harodite, Elika the Harodite, Elez the Paltite, Ira the son of Ikesh, the Tekoite, Abiezar the Anathothite, Mebunai the Hushatite, Zalmon the Hawite, Maharai the Netophathite, Heleb the son of Baanah the Netophathite, Ittai the son of Ribai out of Gibeah of the children of Benjamin, Benaiah the Pirathonite, Hidai of the brooks of Gash, Al-Albon the Abathite, as Maveth the Barumite, Eliaba the Shalbonite of the sons of Jashen Jonathan, Shammah the Ararite, Ahiam the son of Sharar the Eratite, Eliphelet the son of Abishai, Ahasbai the son of Maacatite, Eliam the son of Ahitophel the Gilonite, Ezra the Carmelite, Pari the Arbite, Ilgal the son of Nathan of Zobah, Bani the Gadite, Zelek the Amorite, Nahari, Berothite, Amobiera, Joab the son of Zeruah, Ira the Hithite, Gareb the Hithite, Uriah the Hittite, 30 and 7 in all. Chapter 24. Again, the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he moved David against them to say, Go, number Israel and Judah. For the king said unto Joab, the captain of the host which was with them, Go now through all the tribes of Israel, from Dan even to Beersheba, and number ye them all the people, that I may know the number of the people. And Joab said unto the king, Now the Lord my king add unto the people, how many soever they be, 100-fold, that the eyes of my lord the king may see it. But why doth the Lord my lord the king delight this thing? Notwithstanding, the king's word prevailed against Joab and against the captains of the host. And Joab, captain of the host, went down from the presence of the king to number the people of Israel. And they passed over Jordan and pitched in Aroer on the right side of the city, that lieth in the midst of the river of Gad toward Jazer. Then they came to Gilead and the land of Tahtim Oshshi, and they came to Danjan and about to Sidon, and came to the stronghold of Tyre and to all the cities of the Hivites and of the Canaanites. And they went out to the south of Judah, even to Beersheba. And they went and gone through all the land. They came to Jerusalem at the end of 9 months and 20 days. And Joab gave up the number of the people unto the king, and went Israel 800,000 valiant men that drew sword, and the men of Judah were 500,000 men. And David had smote him after that he had numbered the people. And David said unto the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done, and now I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. For when David was up in the morning, the word of the Lord came unto the prophet of God, saying, David is saying, Go and say unto David, Thus saith the Lord, I offer thee 3 things. Choose thee one of them, that I may do it unto thee. So God came to David and told him, and said unto him, Shall 7 years of famine come unto thee in thy land, or wilt thou flee 3 months before thine enemies while they pursue thee, or that there be 3 days of pestilence in thy land? And now advise, and see what answer I shall return to him that sent me. And David said unto God, I am in a great strait. Let us fall now into the hand of the Lord, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hands of man. So the Lord sent a pestilence upon Israel from morning even to the time appointed, and there died of the people from Dan to Beersheba 70,000 men. And when the angel stretched out his hand upon Jerusalem to destroy, the Lord repented him of the evil and said to the angel that destroyed the people, It is enough. Stay now thine hand. And the angel was by the threshing place of Araunah, the Jebusite. And David spake unto the Lord when he saw the angel that smote the people, and said, Lo, I have sinned, I have done wickedly. But these sheep, what have they done? Let thine hand, I pray thee, be against me and against my father's house. And God came that day to David and said unto him, Go up, rear an altar unto the Lord in the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. And David, according to the saying of God, went up as the Lord had commanded. And Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants coming toward him. And Araunah went out and bowed himself before the king on his face upon the ground. And Araunah said, Wherefore is my lord the king come to his servant and David to buy the threshing floor of thee, to build an altar unto the Lord, that the plague may be stayed from the people? And Araunah said unto David, Let my lord the king take off the offer, what seemeth good unto him. Behold, he be oxen for burnt sacrifice, and threshing instruments and other instruments for the oxen of wood. All these things did Araunah as a king give unto the king. And Araunah said unto the king, The Lord thy God accept thee. And the king said unto Araunah, Nay, but I will surely buy it of thee at a great price. Neither will I offer burnt offerings unto the Lord my God. Of that which does cost me nothing. So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. And David built there an altar unto the Lord and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So the Lord was entreated for the land, and the plague was stayed from Israel. We have now entered the book of 1 Kings. Now King David was old and stricken in years, and they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. Wherefore his servant said unto him, Let there be sought for my lord the king a young virgin, and let her stand before the king, and let her cherish him, and let her lie in thy bosom, that my lord the king may get it. So they sought for a fair damsel throughout all the coast of Israel, and found Abishag, a Shunammite, and brought her to the king. And the damsel was very fair, and cherished the king, and ministered to him, but the king knew her not. Then Adonijah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen, and 50 men to run before him. And his father had not displeased him at any time in saying, Why hast thou done so? And he also was a very goodly man, and his mother bare him after Absalom. And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and Abiathar the priest, and they, following Adonijah, helped him. But Zadok the priest, the Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei and Ray, and the mighty men which belonged to David were not with Adonijah. And Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fat cattle by the stone of Zeholeth, which is by En Rogel, and called all his brethren, the king's sons, and all the men of Judah into the king's fortress. And Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fat cattle, Zeholeth, which is by En Rogel, and called all his brethren, king's son, all the men of the king's servant. But Nathan the prophet and Benaiah the mighty men, Solomon his brother, he called not. Wherefore Nathan spoke unto Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, Hast thou heard that Adonijah the son of Haggith doth reign, and David our Lord knoweth it not? Now therefore come, let, I pray thee, I give you counsel, that thou mayest save thy own life and the life of thy son Solomon. Go and get thee in unto King David, and say unto him, Did not thou, my lord, O king, swear unto thy handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? Why then doth Adonijah reign? Behold, while thou talkest there with the king, I will also come in after thee and confirm thy words. And Bathsheba went in unto the king into the chamber, and the king was very old, and Abishag the Shunammite ministered unto the king. And Bathsheba bowed and did obeisance unto the king, and the king said, What wouldest thou? And she said unto him, My lord, thou swearest by the Lord God thy God unto thine handmaid, saying, Assuredly Solomon thy son shall reign after me. He shall sit upon my throne. And now, behold, Adonijah reigneth. And now, my lord the king, thou knowest it not, and he hath slain oxen and fat cattle, and sheep in abundance, and hath called all the sons of the king, and Abiathar the priest, and Joab the captain of the host. But Solomon thy servant hath he not called. And thou, my lord, O king, the eyes of all Israel are upon thee, that thou shouldest tell them who shall sit on the throne of my lord the king after him. Otherwise it shall come to pass, when my lord the king shall sleep with his fathers, that I and my son Solomon shall be counted offenders. And lo, while she yet talked with the king, Nathan the prophet also came in. And they told the king, saying, Behold, Nathan the prophet, and he was coming before the king. He bowed himself before the king with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, My lord, O king, as thou said, Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne. For he is gone down this day, and hath slain oxen and fat cattle and sheep in abundance, and hath called all the king's sons and the captains of the host, and Abiathar the priest, and behold, they eat and drink before him, and say, God save King Adonijah. But me, even me, thy servant, and Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, the servant Solomon, hath he not called? Is this thing done by my lord the king, and thou hast not showed it unto thy servant, who should sit on the throne of my lord the king after him? Then King David answered and said, Call me Bathsheba. And she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. And the king swore and said, As the Lord liveth, that had redeemed my soul out of all distress, even as I swear unto thee by the Lord God of Israel, saying, Assuredly, Solomon thy son shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon the throne in my stead. Even so will I certainly do this day, even as I swear unto thee by the Lord God of Israel. Then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth and did reverence to the king and said, Let my lord King David live forever. And King David said, Call me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada. And they came before the king. Then the king also said to them, Take with you servants of your lord, and cause Solomon my son to ride upon my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there as king over Israel. And blow ye with the trumpet, and say, God save King Solomon. Then ye shall come up after him, that he may come in and sit upon my throne, for he shall be king in my stead. And I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Judah. And Benaiah son of Jehoiada answered the king and said, Amen. The Lord God of my lord, the king, say so too. And as the Lord had been with my lord, the king, even so he be with Solomon, make his throne greater than the throne of my lord the king David. So that Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada and the Cherethites and the Pelethites went down and caused Solomon to ride upon King David's mule and brought him to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took a horn of oil out of the tabernacle and anointed Solomon, and they blew the trumpet, and all the people said, God save King Solomon. And all the people came up after him, and all the people piped with pipes and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth rent with the sound of them. And Adonijah and all the guests that were with him heard as it made an end of eating. And when Joab heard the sound of trumpet, he said, Wherefore is this noise of the city being in an uproar? And while he yet spake, behold, Jonathan the son of Abiathar the priest came. And Adonijah said unto him, Come in, for thou art a valiant man and bringest good tidings. Bringeth good tidings. And Jonathan answered him and said to Adonijah, Verily our Lord King David had made Solomon king. And the king has sent him with Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet and Benaiah the son of Jehoiada and the Cherethites and the Pelethites they have caused to ride upon the king's mule. And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet have anointed him king in Gihon. And they are come up from thence rejoicing, so that the city rang again. This is the noise that ye have heard. And Solomon seated on the throne of the kingdom, and moreover the king's servants came to bless our Lord the king, saying, God make the name of Solomon better than thy name, and make his throne greater than thy throne. And the king bowed himself upon the bed. And also said the king, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which hath given one to sit on my throne this day. My eyes have seen it. My eyes even seeing it. And all the guests that were with Adonijah were afraid and rose up and went every man his way. And Adonijah feared because of Solomon, and arose and went and caught hold of the horns of the altar. And it was told Solomon, saying, Behold, Adonijah feared King Solomon, for lo, he hath caught hold of the horns on the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear to me today that he will not slay his servant with the sword. And Solomon said, If he will show himself a worthy man, there shall not a hair from him fall to the earth. But if wickedness shall be found in him, he shall die. So King Solomon sent, and they brought him down from the altar. And he came and bowed himself to King Solomon. Solomon said unto him, Go to thy house. Chapter 2. 1 Kings chapter 2. Now the days of David drew near that he should die, and he charged Solomon his son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong therefore, and show thyself a man, and keep charge of the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whithersoever thou turnest thyself, that the Lord may continue his word which he spoke concerning me, saying, If thy children take heed to their way and walk before me in truth with all their heart and with all their soul, that it shall not fail thee, such a man from the throne in Israel. Moreover, thou knowest also what Joab the son of Zeruiah did to me, and what he did to the two captains of the host of Israel, unto Abner the son of Ner, and unto Amasa the son of Jether, whom he slew. And he shed the blood of war in peace, and put the blood of war upon his girdle that was about his loins, and his shoes, and that was on the feet, that were on his feet. Do therefore according to thy wisdom, and let not his hoar head go down to the grave in peace, but show kindness unto the sons of Barzillai the Gileadites, and let them be of them that eat at thy table, for they came to me when I fled because of Absalom thy brother. And behold, thou hast with thee Shimei the son of Gera, a Benjamite of Bahurim, which caused me with a grievous curse in the day when I went to Mahanaim. But he came down to meet me at Jordan, and I swear by him to him by the Lord, saying, I will put thee to death with the sword. I will not put thee to death with the sword. Now therefore hold him not guiltless, for thou art a wise man, and knowest what thou oughtest to do, but his war head bring him down to the grave with blood. So David slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. And the days of David that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. 7 years reigned he in Hebron, and 3 years reigned he in Jerusalem. Then sat Solomon upon the throne of David his father, and his kingdom was established greatly. And Adonijah the son of Haggith came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, and said, Comest thou peaceably? And he said, Peaceably. And he said, Moreover, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And he said, Say on. She said, Say on. And he said, Thou knowest that the kingdom was mine, that all Israel set their faces on me, that I should reign. Howbeit the kingdom is turned about and is become my brother's, for it was him from the Lord. For it was his from the Lord. And I asked one petition of thee, deny me not. And she said unto him, Say on. And he said, Speak, I pray thee, unto Solomon the king, for I will not say thee nay, that they give me Abishag the Shunammite to wife. And Bathsheba said, Well, I speak for thee unto the king. Bathsheba therefore went unto King Solomon to speak unto him for Adonijah. And the king rose up to meet and bowed himself unto her, and sat down on his throne, and caused a seat to be set for the king's mother, and she sat on his right hand. Then she said, I desire one small petition, I pray thee, say me not nay. And the king said unto, Ask on, mother, for I will not say nay thee. And she said, Let Abishag, the son of Shunammite, be given to Adonijah thy brother to wife. And King Solomon answered and said unto his mother, And why dost thou ask Abishag the Shunammite for Adonijah? Ask for him the kingdom also, for he is my elder brother, even for him, and for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah. The King Solomon swear by the Lord, saying, God do so to me and more, if Adonijah had not spoken this word against his own life. Now, therefore, as the Lord liveth, which hath established me and set me on the throne of David my father, who hath made me a house as he has promised, Adonijah shall be put to death this day. And King Solomon sent by the hand of Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, and he fell upon him that he died. And unto Abiathar the priest said the king, Get thee to Anathoth, unto thine own fields, for thou art worthy of death, for I will not at this time put thee to death, because thou bearest the ark of the Lord before David my father, and because thou hast been afflicted whereon my father was afflicted. So Solomon thrust out Abiathar from being priest unto the Lord, that he might fulfill the word of the Lord, which speak concerning the house of Eli in Shiloh. Then tidings came to Joab, for Joab had turned after Adonijah, though he turned not after Absalom. And Joab fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord, and caught hold on the horns of the altar. And it was told King Solomon that Joab was fled up to the tabernacle of the Lord, and behold, is by the altar. Then Solomon sent Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, saying, Go, fall upon him. And Benaiah came to the tabernacle of the Lord, and said to him, Thus saith the king, Come forth. And he said, Nay, but I will die here. And Benaiah brought the king word again. Thus did Joab, and he answered me. And the king said unto him, Do as he hath said, fall upon him and bury him, that thou mayest take away the innocent blood which Joab shed for me and from the house of my father. And the Lord shall return his blood upon his head, who fell upon the two more righteous and better, and slew them with the sword of my father David, not knowing thereof, to wit, Abner the son of Ner, captain of the host of Israel, and Amasa the son of Jether, and captain of the host of Judah. Their blood shall therefore return upon the head of Joab, and upon the head of his seed forever, but upon David, and upon his seed, and upon his house, and upon his throne shall there be peace forever from the Lord. So Benaiah the son of Jehoiada went up and fell upon him and slew him, and he was buried in his own house in the wilderness. And the king put Benaiah the son of Jehoiada in the room over the host, and Zadok the priest did the king put in the room of Abiathar. And the king sent and called Shimei, and said unto him, Build thee a house in Jerusalem, and dwell there, and go not forth thence any whither. For it shall be that on the day that thou goest out, thou passest the brook Kidron, and thou shalt know for certain that thou shalt surely die, and thy blood shall be upon thy own hand. And Shimei said unto the king, The saying is good, as my lord the king has said, so will thy servant do. And Shimei dwelt in Jerusalem many days. And it came to pass at the end of 3 years that two servants of Shimei ran away into Achish the son of Maacah of Gath. And they told Shimei, saying, Behold, thy servant be in Gath. And Shimei arose and saddled his ass, and went to Gath and Achish to seek his servants. And Shimei went and brought his servants from Gath. And it was also told Solomon that Shimei had gone to Jerusalem to Gath and was come again. And the king sent and called for Shimei and said unto him, Did I not make this swear by the Lord, and protested unto thee, saying, Know for certain on the day that thou goest out and walkest abroad any whither, thou shalt surely die? And he said unto me, The word that I have heard is good. Why then have you not kept the oath of the Lord, and the commandment that I have charged thee with? The king said moreover to Shimei, Thou knowest all the wickedness which thine heart is privy to. And thou didst to David my father, therefore shall return thy wickedness upon thy own head. And King Solomon shall be blessed, and the throne of David shall be established before the Lord forever. So the king commanded Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, which went out and fell upon him, that he died, and the kingdom was established in the hand of Solomon. Chapter 3. And Solomon made affinity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David. Until he had made an end of the building of his house and the house of the Lord and the wall of Jerusalem round about. And the people sacrificed the high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Lord until those days. And Solomon loved the Lord, walking the statutes of his father. Only he sacrificed and brought offerings, incense in high places. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was a great place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer on the altar. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, Ask what I shall give thee. And Solomon said, Thou hast shown unto thy servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he has walked before thee in truth, in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart, and with thee, and thou kept him for good in great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Lord my God, thou hast made thy servant a king instead of my father David. And I am but a little child, I know not how to go out nor come in. And thy servant David is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, the great people that thou cannot be numbered, nor counted for multitudes. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great a people? And the speech pleased the Lord that Solomon asked this thing. And God said unto him, because thou asked this thing, and hast not asked for thyself long life, neither asked for riches for thyself, or asked for the life of thy enemies, but thou hast asked for thyself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to thy words. Lo, I have given thee a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like thee before thee, neither after thee shall any rise like unto thee. And I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked, both riches and honor, so there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee in all thy days. Unto thee all thy days. And if thou wilt walk in my ways to keep my statutes and my commandments, as thy father David did walk, then I will lengthen thy days. So Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream, and he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. It was a dream. Stood before the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings and offered peace offerings, and made a feast unto all his servants. Then came there two women that were harlots and unto the king, and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my Lord, and this woman dwell in one house. I and this woman dwell in one house. I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the third day that after I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we two in the house. And this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside bosom. And when I arose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. And when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not only my son which I did bear. It was not my son which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they speak before the king. Then said the king, The one saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is dead. And the other said, Nay, but this thy son is dead, and my son is living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child into two. Give one half to the one, and give half to the other. Then spake the woman whose living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child. And in no wise laid. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it, she is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard the judgment which the king judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. Chapter 4. So King Solomon was king over all Israel, and these were the princes which he had: Azariah the son of Zadok the priest, Elihoreph and Ahiah the sons of Shisha scribes, Jehoshaphat the son of Ahilud, the recorder, Benaiah the son of Jehoiada that was over the host, and Zadok and Abiathar were priests, and Azariah the son of Nathan was over the officers, and Zabud the son of Nathan was principal officer and the king's friend, and Ahisha was over the household, and Adoniram the son of Abda was over the tribute, and Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided victuals for the king and his household. Each man his month in a year made provision. And these are the names of the sons of all in Mount Ephraim, the son of Dekar, in Makaz and in Shalbim and Beth Shemesh and Elon Beth Hanan, the son of Esed and Aruboth, to him that pertained to Shokon, all the land of Iphah, the son of Abinadab in all the region of Dor, which had Taphath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife, Banah, the son of Ahilud. To him pertained Tanakh and Megiddo, and all Bethshan, which is by Zartanah. Abinadab, the son of Iddo, and Mahanaim. Ahimaaz was in Naphtali. Also took Basmath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife. Bana, the son of Hushai, was in Asher and in Aloth. Jehoshaphat, the son of Parua, in Issachar. Shimei, the son of Elah, in Benjamin. Giba, the son of Uri, was in the country of Gilead, in the country of Sion, king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan, and he was the only officer which was in the land. Judah and Israel were many as the sand which is by the sea in the multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. And Solomon reigned over all the kingdoms from the river unto the land of the Philistines and unto the border of Egypt. And they brought presents and served Solomon all the days of his life. And Solomon's provision for one day was 30 measures of fine flour and 60 measures of meal, 10 fat oxen and 20 oxen out of the pastures and 100 sheep, beside herds and roebucks and fallow deer and fatted cow. For he had dominion over all the region that this side of the river, from Tifsha even to Azar, over all the kings on this side of the river. And he had peace on all sides round about him. And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariot and 12,000 horsemen. And those officers provided victual for King Solomon and for all that came unto the king's table, every man in his month. They lacked nothing. Barley also and straw for the horses and dromedaries brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his charge. And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding, exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt, for he was wiser than all men, and Ethan the Ezrahite, Heman and Chalcol and Darda, the sons of Mahol, and his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of trees, from cedar tree that is in Lebanon unto the hyssop that springeth out of the wall. He also spoke of beasts and of fowl and of creeping things and of fishes. There came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and from the kings of the earth which heard of his wisdom. Chapter 5. And Hiram the king of Tyre sent his servant unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father. For Hiram was ever a lover of David. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, Thou knowest that thou, David my father, could not build a house unto the name of the Lord his God, for the walls which were about him on every side unto the Lord put him under the soles of his feet. Put them under the soles of his feet. But now the Lord my God hath given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil occurrent. And behold, I propose to build a house unto the name of the Lord my God, as the Lord spake unto David my father, saying, Thy son, whom I will set over thy throne in thy room, he shall build a house unto my name. Now therefore command thou that they hew me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servant shall be with thy servant. And unto thee will I give hire for thy servants according to all that thou shalt appoint. For thou knowest that there is not among us any that skill to hew timber like unto the Sidonians. And it came to pass that when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, that he rejoiced greatly and said, Blessed be the Lord this day, which hath given unto David a wise son over this great people. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have considered the things which thou sentest to me, for I will do all thy desire concerning timber of cedar and concerning timber of fir. My servants shall bring them down from Lebanon unto the sea, and I will convey them by sea in floats unto the place that thou shalt appoint me, and will cause them to be discharged there, and thou shalt receive them, and shall accomplish my desire in giving food for my household. So Hiram gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat for food to his household, and 20 measures of pure oil. Thus gave Solomon to Hiram year by year. And then the Lord gave Solomon wisdom as he has promised him. And there was peace between Hiram and Solomon, and they two made a league together. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men. And he said unto them, Lend them to Lebanon 10,000 a month by courses. A month they were in Lebanon, and 2 months at home. And Adoniram was over the levy. And Solomon had 10,000 that bear burdens, and 1,000 hewers in the mountains, beside the chief of Solomon's officers, which were over the work, 3,300, which ruled over the people that wrought the work. And King Solomon commanded, and they brought great stones, and costly stones, and huge stones, and laid the foundations of the house. And Solomon builded. Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders did hew them, and the stone squatters, so they prepared squarers, so they prepared timber and stones to build the house. Chapter 6. And it came to pass in the 480th year of the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt in the 4th year of the reign over Israel in the month Ziph, which is the second month, that they began to build the house of the Lord, and the house which Solomon built for the Lord. And the length thereof was 30 cubits, and the breadth thereof 20 cubits, and the height thereof 30 cubits, and the porch before the temple and the house, 20 cubits, that was the length thereof, according to the breadth of the house, and 10 cubits, that was the breadth thereof of the house. And for the house he made windows of narrow lights, and against the wall he built chambers round about, against the walls of the house round about, both of the temple and of the oracle. And he made the chambers round about. The nethermost chamber was 5 cubits broad, and the middle was 6 cubits broad, and the third was 7 cubits broad. For without in the wall of the house he made narrowed rest round about, that the beams should not be fastened in the walls of the house. And the house, when it was in building construction, was built on some stone made ready before it was brought thither. So there was neither hammer, nor axe, nor any tool of iron heard in the house while it was in building. The door for the middle chamber was in the right side of the house, and there went up winding stairs into the middle chamber, and out of the middle into the third. So he built the house and finished it, and covered the house with beams and boards of cedar. And then he built chambers against all the house, 5 cubits high, and they rested on the house with timber of cedar. And the word of the Lord came to Solomon, saying, concerning this house which thou art building, if thou wilt walk in my statutes and execute my judgments, to keep all thy commandments and to walk in them, then I will perform my word with thee, which I spoke unto thy father David. And I will dwell among the children of Israel, and will not forsake my people Israel. So Solomon built the house and finished it, and he built the walls of the house within the borders of the cedar, both the floor of the house and of the walls of the ceilings, and he covered them on the inside with wood, and covered the floor with planks of fir. And he built 20 cubits of what? On the sides of the house, both the floor and of the walls with brothers. He even built them for within, even for the oracle, even for the most holy place, and for the house that is the temple before it was 40 cubits long. And the cedar of the house within was carved with knobs and open flowers. All that was cedar, there was no stone seen. And the oracle he prepared in the house within set set there the ark of the covenant of the Lord. And the oracle in the fore part was 20 cubits in length, and the 20 cubits in breadth, and 20 cubits in height thereof, and he overlaid it with pure gold, and so covered the altar, which was of cedar. So Solomon overlaid the house within with pure gold, and he made a partition by chains of gold before the oracle, and he overlaid it with gold. And the whole house was he overlaid with gold until he had finished all the house. Unto the whole altar that was by the tabernacle he overlaid with gold. And within the oracle he made 2 cherubims of olive tree, each 10 cubits high, and 5 cubits was the one wing of the cherub, and 5 cubits was the other wing of the cherub. From the uttermost part of the one wing unto the uttermost part of the other were 10 cubits. And the other cherub was 10 cubits. Both cherubims were of one measure on one side, and the height of the cherub was 10 cubits. And so it was with the other cherub. He set the cubits within the manger, and they stretched forth the wings of the cherubims, so that the wings of one touched the wall, and the wings of the other touched the other wall, and the wings touched one another in the middle of the house. And he overlaid the cherubims with gold, and he carved all the walls of the house round about with carved figures of cherubims and palm trees, and open flowers within and without. And the floor of the house he overlaid with gold within and without. And for the entering of the oracle, he made the doors of olive tree. The lintel and side posts were a fifth part of the wall, and 2 doors were of 5 tree of the olive tree. And he carved them upon the carvings of the cherubims and the palm tree and the open flowers, and he overlaid them with gold, and spread them upon the cherubims and upon the palm trees. So he made them for the door of the temple post, a fourth part of the wall, and the 2 doors were of fir tree, and the leaves of the door were one folding, and the other leaves was folding. And he carved them upon cherubims and palm trees and open flowers now, and covered them with gold and fitted for carved work. But the building now cut with 3 rows of hewed stone and a row of cedar beams. In the fourth year was the foundation of the stone of the Lord, house of the Lord laid in the month of Ziph. And in the 11th year, in the month of Bul, which is the 8th month, was the house finished throughout all the parts thereof, and according to all the fashion of it. So was he 7 years in building it. But chapter 7. But Solomon was building his own house 13 years, and he finished all his house. He built also the house of the Lord of the forest of Lebanon. The length thereof was 100 cubits, and the breadth thereof 50 cubits, and the height thereof 50 30 30 cubits, upon four rows of cedar pillars and beams upon the pillars. And it was covered with cedar above upon the beams to lay 45 pillars, 15 in a row. And there were windows in three rows, and light was against light in three ranks. And all the doors of the post were square, with the windows and the light against light in these ranks. And he made porch of pillars, and the length thereof was 50 cubits, and the breadth thereof 30 cubits, and the porch was before them, and other pillars and thick beam were before them. And then he made a porch of the stone where he might judge, even the porch of judgment, and it was covered with cedar from one side and floor to the other. And his house where he dwelt had another court within the porch, which was of the like work. Solomon made also an house for Pharaoh's daughter, whom he had taken to wife, like unto this porch. All these were of costly stones, according to the measures of the huge stone, sword saws, within and without, even the foundation with his copy. And all these were of costly stones, according to the measure of the huge stone sword, within and without, even from the foundation unto the coping and on the outside toward the great court. And the foundation of was of costly stones, even great stones, stones of 10 cubits and stones of 8 cubits above were costly stones after above the measures, after the measures of the huge stones and cedars. And the great court round about was with these rows of huge stone and the row of cedar beams, and for the inner court of the house of the Lord, and for the porch of the house. And the king Solomon sent and fetched Hiram out of Tyre. He was a widow's son out of the tribe of Naphtali. His father was a man of Tyre, worker in brass. He was filled with wisdom and understanding, and understanding these works in brass. And he came to King Solomon and wrought all his work. For he cast two pillars of brass and 18 cubits high apiece, and the line of 12 did compass either of them about. And he made two chapiters of molten brass to set upon the two pillars. The height of the one chapiter was 5 cubits, and the height of the other chapiter was 5 cubits. And the nets of checker work and the reed chain for the chapiters were upon the top of the pillars, 7 for the one chapiter and 7 for the other chapiter. And he made pillars, two rows round about one network to cover the chapiters that were on top of the pomegranate. So did he for the other chapiter. And the chapiters that were on the top of the pillars were of lily work of the porch, 4 cubits. And the chapiters upon the two pillars had pomegranates also above over against the belly, which was by the network. And the pomegranates were 200 in rows round about upon the other chapiter. And he set up pillars in the porch of the temple. He set up the right pillar and called the name thereof Jachin. And he set up the left pillar and called the name thereof Boaz. And upon the top of the chapiters was lily work, so that the work was of the pillars finished. And he made molten sea 10 cubits of one brim to the other. It was all round about, and his height was 5 cubits. And a line of 30 cubits did compass it round about. And under the brim of it round about there were knobs compassing it, 10 in a cubit compassing the sea round about. And the knobs were cast in two rows when it was cast. And upon the 12 oxen, there three looking toward the north, and there look three looking towards the west, and three looking towards the south, and three looking towards the east, and they was set above them. And all their hinder parts were inward, and it was a handbreadth thick. And the brim was meat of a cup. The flowers, lilies, it contained 2,000 bats. And he made 10 bases of brass. 4 cubits was the length of one base, and 4 cubits the breadth thereof. And the cubit was the height of it, and the work of the bases was on this manner. They had borders, and the borders were between the ledges, and borders were cut between the ledges were lions, oxen, and cherubim. And upon the ledges that were on the base above and beneath the edges were additions to make them of thin work. And every base had four brazen wheels, and plates of brass, and four corners thereof had undersetters. Under the levers were undersetters molten at the side of every addition, and the mouth of it within the chapiter above was a cubit, but the mouth thereof was round about, round after the work of the base, and a cubit and a half. And upon the mouth of it were gravings with their borders, foursquare and not round. And under the borders were four wheels, and the axle trees which were joined to the base, and the height of a wheel was a cubit and a half a cubit, and the works of the wheels was like the work of a chariot with their axle trees, and their naves and their felloes, and their spokes were all molten, and there were four undersetters to the four corners of one base, and the undersetters were of the very base itself. And in the top of the base there was there a round compass of a half a cubit high on The top of the base of the ledges and of the borders were of the same. For on the plates of the ledges thereof, on the borders thereof, he graved cherubims, lions, and palm trees according to the portion of everyone, and additions round about. After this manner, he made 10 bases. All of them had one casting, one measure, and one size. Then made he 10 levers of brass. One lever contained 40 bats, and every lever was 4 cubits, and upon every one of the 10 bases one lever. And he put 5 bases on the right side of the house, and the left side of the house, and see the right side of the house eastward over against the south. And Hiram made the lavers and the shovels and the basins. So Hiram made the laver of the work. And made King Solomon for his house of the Lord 2 pillars, and 2 bowls of chapiters were on top of the 2 pillars of the networks to cover the bowls of the chapiters which were on top of the pillars, and 400 pomegranates, 2 networks, even 2 rows of pomegranate for one network to cover the bowls of the chapiters that were upon the pillars, and 10 bases and 10 lavers on the bases, and one sea, and 12 oxen under the sea, and the pots and the shovels and the basins and all these vessels with which Hiram made to King Solomon for the house of the Lord were of bright brass. In the plain of Jordan the king cast them, the clay between Succoth and Zarethan. And Moses left all the vessels unweighed, because they were exceeding many. Neither was the weight of the brass found out. And Solomon made all the vessels that pertained unto the house of the Lord, an altar of gold, and the table of gold, whereupon the shewbread was, and the candlestick of pure gold, and on the right and on the left before the oracle with the flowers and the lamps and the tongues of gold, and the bowls and the snuffers and the basins, and the spoons and the censers of pure gold, and the hinges of gold, both for the doors of the inner house, the most holy place, and for the doors of the house to wit of the temple. So was ended all the work that the king Solomon made for the house of the Lord. And Solomon brought in all the things which David his father dedicated, even the silver and the gold and the vessels did he put among the treasures of the house of the Lord. May the Lord bless the reading of his word in Jesus' name. Amen.